According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. My name is Corinna Stoffel, and I'm the host of Toward a New World. The world seems to be falling apart. Are you as frustrated as I am with the talk about how to fix things or what needs to change, yet nothing changes? In the episodes, I invite people to look from different perspectives, sometimes even contrary to the current points of view. My intention is to evoke a different level of consciousness by empowering listeners to explore what is true for them and begin to live their lives from that place, thus changing their lives and through it the world. If this appeals to you, I ask you to subscribe to the podcast on this channel.
Hello and welcome. After the 9-part, more philosophical exploration of what elderhood could mean and what is required to become an elder, I am going back into exploring more specific aspects of elderhood. Last time I talked about bringing back rites of passage. And elders play a big role in that aspect. And there are two different arenas in which elders can actually play a major role in conjunction with youth. So let's go with one. If I look back about 100 years or so or more ago, extended families lived together. Now, that is not necessarily a case. The family that has the youth may live in California, and the grandparents may live in Florida. So it used to be when they lived together that the role of the grandparents were different in the life of a youth from the role of the parents. And one important aspect for the grandparents was to see the youth, to see who they are as a person, and to help them grow into that being that they perceive there. The parents are more acculturating the kids. So they fit into society, fit into culture, and teaching them that. Youth have a need to be seen. And so that could be the role of an elder now, since the grandparents are not necessarily right around the corner as they used to be. So, what does it mean for an elder? It means that there is a one-on-one relationship created with a specific youth, and the elder invites the youth to dream about their life. What would you like to be if you could have anything? What would that be? If you could be anything, what would you like to be? Not from a logical, practical, but from a dreaming perspective. And asking questions like, who are you? Where do you want to go? You know? And then when asking those questions, the most important thing is to listen, to listen, to listen. I'll repeat it again, to listen. It's not in telling them what they should be or, could be, or what makes sense or what is logical. No, just invite them, as I said, to dream and then listen and say, okay, yeah, that's a possibility. And it is a possibility. Anything is a possibility if we allow it to be and not squelch it. So that is a role that an elder can play. An elder as a mentor can uh, share their own life experiences. Yeah, when I was your age, I remember that. Or I remember that this was really exciting for me, or that fulfilled me, or whatever it is, sharing out of your own life as an elder and waiting for the invitation from the youth to share more. Showing genuine interest is so important. Uh, it it is so logical on the one hand that we almost overlook it. And what can you be? Who can you be in that person's life to give them what they need to receive from you? Can you share professional experiences and therefore teach them something about professional life? So there are many possibilities in that arena, becoming a substitute grandparent. There is another aspect that a elder is needed. Like last time, I talked about bringing back rites of passage. But an important part of rites of passage is the fact that there is an elder part of the team. There may be elders, and especially important that there are elders that can receive the youth coming back from that rite of passage experience. Yes, it takes trained rite of passage guides to guide a youth through the process of the experience, through the ritual, through the ceremony. But then listening, again, as I said, listening. Listening is so important. And how much are we listening to youth? That is, now let me backtrack. A rite of passage is important because from birth, there is this physical maturation process through being a toddler, a baby, a toddler, a child, an adolescent. And then they become adults, and the physical maturation process to some extent is finished. But what about the psychological, spiritual maturation process? That one, actually, especially the spiritual one, is something that needs to begin when you start stepping into adulthood as the latest. That door so often has not opened yet to have a connection with their soul. And rites of passage really used to open that door, that they had that personal, deep relationship with spirit, with a power outside of themselves that is not overpowering them, that is inviting them to become the best version, the grandest version that the person can imagine being at that point in time. And sadly enough, we don't have rites of passage anymore. And youth still long for a rite of passage. Youth still long for the the knowing that they're seen. And I can only imagine, if you think that at the age of 36, I was still fascinated with going through a rite of passage and marking my transition into adulthood, how much more important that is for a youth. And I remember how important it was for my daughter to do that. So, bringing rites of passage back, we do have the need for elders. And as I said, I envision trained guides to be the container for that ceremony. But we need that ceremony for people to become who they are, to move forward into what I call humanity 2.0. And in order to do that, we need to envision what life could be in humanity 2.0, how humanity 2.0 could look like. And how shall I say that? Yeah, it's that dreaming. It's going back to dreaming and envisioning and being willing to live from that perspective. So let me share a recent experience. I was honored that I could listen to a rite of passage experience of someone that I've known for many years. And listening to the story deeply touched me. The trust that that young person expressed by telling me the story touched me. And on top of it, I was so moved by being able to again, after almost 10 years of not doing it, to reflect back on the story. And yes, I am a trained rite of passage guide. I have learned to do that. And it's not necessarily required for an elder to reflect back, but just the mere fact of listening and acknowledging that the youth has gone through that process is so important. Where can we go? What can we do as elders to bring back a vital ceremony, a vital aspect for youth? And as I said in the last episode, how often do youth try to initiate themselves? And not having elders, it doesn't quite work, because it takes that wisdom, that life experience to receive the youth, to acknowledge that. So I invite you to sit with that and to listen to it, to explore this further, and see where that appeals to you. And I will put ways to contact me if you are interested in receiving more information. There will be links in the show notes. So please go through and let's bring something that is so vital back into our culture that we may really move where we need to move out of where we are into a new world. We are at that cusp. So take care. Bye bye.